This is the Paris cityscape dealing with perspective for ages 7 to 9. So to begin, you're going to do a warm-up with the students, and you're going to be teaching them how one-point perspective works. So give the students a blank piece of white paper and a pencil and a ruler, and they're going to follow along and do what you do as you do one-point perspective on your whiteboard. So to begin, I want you to draw a horizon line. So this line is just straight across, and I want you to have the students repeat after you, horizon line, so that they can learn the vocabulary that goes along with this. Once all the students have used their ruler to draw a horizon line, then you want to add a vanishing point. And we're going to do our vanishing point just right there in the middle. That makes it nice and easy. After they have their vanishing point, then you're going to have them draw a square above the horizon line. It's going to be four-sided. They don't need a ruler to do this. They can just freehand it if they'd like to. And right now the shape is flat. It's just a square. There's no third dimension to it. But one-point perspective allows us to take a flat shape and make it look three-dimensional, like it has form. Now they're going to take their ruler and connect it to an edge of the square and to the vanishing point, and then draw the line between the two. They're going to do it to the second corner of the square, connect it to the vanishing point. Now all of a sudden it's starting to look like something's going back into space. And then once we do this third corner up here and connect it to the vanishing point, all of a sudden our flat square has become a three-dimensional cube, and it looks like it's vanishing back towards the horizon. Let's practice that again and have the students follow along. This time let's do it below the horizon line. We can do a shape anywhere on the paper, and the concept works exactly the same. It always vanishes back towards the vanishing point. So keep using the vocabulary as you do this, and connect the corners of your square back to that. All right, let's do a different shape. How about we do a triangle and have it be nice and big? You can pick anywhere on your page to do a triangle. So I'll start with my shape, and again, it's flat. So we're going to take a flat shape and all of a sudden make it seem like it has form that vanishes back into space. There. And you can even connect this third one almost as if it's like a see-through prism, so you can see all the sides vanishing back into space like that. And now lastly, let's do one that's on top of the horizon line. And this is going to connect kind of with the idea of what we're doing in just a minute when we draw the scene from Paris. So if we draw a shape that is covering the horizon line, we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to take the corner, use our ruler to connect it to the vanishing point, and do it with this side as well. So it still vanishes back there, it's just simply at the same level as the horizon line. Once you and the students have practiced doing one-point perspective 2 or 3 times like this, then you can give them their final piece of paper. So you can give them a new blank piece of white paper, and they're going to use their ruler to do a new horizon line about 1/3 of the way up the paper. So you can walk around and help students find 1/3. And once they've all gotten their horizon line, then they will take their pencil and draw a dot right here in the center. So make it nice and big, and this is their vanishing point. So when we draw our landscape in Paris, the bridge will vanish back to that vanishing point. Next, I want them to take their ruler, and I want them to set it right here on top of their horizon line so that the corner of the ruler is touching this vanishing point. And we're going to then trace around the side of the ruler this way and create a line, and then trace over the top of the ruler this way and create a line. So they've used their ruler to create a rectangle that sits on top of the horizon line. And the horizon line is the line that separates the land or the water from the sky. And on top of our water here, we have a wall next to it. So that's what that is going to be. Once everyone has the wall, now we get to create the bridge. And in order to do the bridge, it's like when we did the square that was on top of the horizon line. So part of the square comes down towards the side below the horizon line, and part of it goes up above the horizon line. So all of a sudden, the wall of our bridge is right here going back into space, vanishing and getting smaller towards the vanishing point. So we have our sky above the horizon line, the wall slightly above it, and the water below it, and the bridge wall coming back to that point. Now we're going to draw some arches in the bridge, and this is going to show the students that everything gets smaller the closer it gets to the vanishing point. If we go to the bottom of our bridge and we do a very, very tall archway like this and come down, that one's going to be the closest one to us, so it will be the biggest. Now, as we continue to do arches, they're going to get smaller because they're getting closer and closer to the vanishing point. So they also begin to vanish and get smaller. So for the second one, it will not be as tall as that first one I made. And then for the third one, it will be even smaller because it's even closer to that vanishing point. So now my bridge has 3 arches that the water is passing under. We want to make this look even more realistic and more 3-dimensional. So we're going to add some lines that make it look more realistic. You can see here that the horizon line is completely horizontal. They're going to use their ruler and they're going to set it down so that it touches this point here of the arch and is also horizontal, the same as the horizon line. Once they've set that there, they're then going to do a line that is horizontal between the side of this archway and touches the next line. Do the same thing to the next arch. It's going to be horizontal starting at this side of the arch and going horizontally back to that side. Now you can see that this area is where the water will pass through. And then the same thing to the third arch. It goes back and touches that side there. Once you have that done, then you can start to draw the Eiffel Tower. And the Eiffel Tower is going to be back here in this negative space here up in the sky. And you're simply going to break it down into simple shapes. So it's going to be kind of a very, very tall triangle with slightly curved sides. So if I start here at my wall, then I can just swoop up and go across. And then I can also just swoop down and come back. The Eiffel Tower has 2 lines that go across like this, like that. And then we're going to do a curved line under it just like that. All right. Mine's a little wobbly, and that's okay. If your students have wobbly Eiffel Towers, that's okay. They can use their eraser to try and make it a little bit more neat. But we're going for the concept here, and we're not going for perfection. So the idea is to understand that things get smaller as they go to the vanishing point, and then we simply get to add some geography to it and do the Eiffel Tower of Paris. So again, it's not about perfection, it's about learning the concepts that we have. So right now they have a basic landscape, and now we're going to add some oils. We're going to use the oils concepts to add some more lines and designs to it. So they can go down into the water, and we could use some curvy lines to add some waves here. As many as they want. They can add some fish, let them have some fun and kind of play around with it. We can add some stones or some type of brick to the wall using angled lines or circles, some filled in dots. They can add some more lines to the bridge if they wanted to do that. Oops. Hopefully a little bit more straight using a ruler. And they can even add some straight lines in the Eiffel Tower, creating those trellises. However they want to do that, they can just start to add texture and design inside some of these shapes. And then lastly, if they choose to, they can do some sorts of letters up in the top and write the word Paris in block letters or bubble letters, and then they could color that in as well. So the idea is that they understand 1 point perspective, and then they get to design it beyond that. But if they understand 1 point perspective, then you've achieved what you've wanted to achieve.